They won their first 5, lost their next 5, but have been able to settle and respond again as a club.
There's Jonathan Brown, the skipper, back into the fold. He gives their players, with Merritt down there, a big dual-pronged attack there for the Brisbane Lions.
Yes, Merritt and Brown inside 50 for the Lions, as Danny said. And both Westhoff and Butcher inside 50 for Port Adelaide. We're underway in this round 18 encounter. Leuenberger, who's having a very good season. Mays was having a good year. Little fumble there. Couldn't quite slip it out. Mitchell, first season in the big time after winning the Sandover medal. It's been a good pickup for Port Adelaide. Been coming on as the super sub, but starts this afternoon. Bangs them forward. Butcher. Port Adelaide kicking with the breeze in this opening term. Westhoff gets there, can't shrug the tackle. Did he find his boot with the ball? Mays got the handball out. Crazy scramble. Umpire gives them an enormous amount of time. They've been doing that a bit, the umpires. Corns gets it out, back into the lineup this week. Butcher to Moore, to Monfries. From a stand start, drifts. Shorts buffeted out of it, ball comes to the back. Clark left it behind. Gray caught a little high. Umpire said he ducked and felt for contact.
To Port Adelaide this year, they're able to hold on to it, a bit more mature in the way they're going about it as a side and holding possession of the ball more.
Maloney on the run, back into the lineup as well this week. Been out with a calf injury for a while. Ball comes to the back. Spills nicely for Crisp. Hands it up to Merritt. Keeps it low. And you're behind.
It was a great pick-up from Merritt. The handball, the errant handball, he's under pressure. Took it at ankle height.
Broadbent left it behind. Redden shoots it wide. Golby. He dropped it and ran into the tackle. That was clever.
That was very clever, Dwayne. Beautifully called, because he was basically running into a brick wall. So he made out he was going to take possession, but didn't take it in the end. Have a look at this.
Yeah, he did drop it, though.
He did, actually. He turned his back. I just thought he didn't take possession, but he did in the end.
The umpire was as forward as we were.
Yep.
Cassisi back into Port Adelaide's lineup this week, and that's out on the full from his boot. Oldest player Port Adelaide's list this year, the ex-captain.
Well, Dwayne, it's going to be difficult to score from that side of the ground.
Puts it up to the top of the square. Breeze plays with it. Big pack. Back of the pack. This is perfect. Buick. Doesn't get any easier than that. Maguire kicks smothered. A bit fumbly, Port Adelaide, at the moment. They've had a few opportunities and let them drop.
Brisbane's work at the coalface has been terrific. Just a bit overzealous there from Rains. We're just about to say the clearance factor is 7-0 Brisbane's favour, so they've started extremely well, the Lions, around the midfield.
So this will tell you what the breeze is doing here for Robbie Gray. The breeze is essentially blowing straight towards those goals, according to the flags. But the flags, they sound strange, but the flags can lie here sometimes. That's what he has ahead of him. Starts it. It should blow towards the goal face. It does. Not enough.
Well, it's a really disciplined spoil there. You can see that the Brisbane defenders poured kicking with the breeze. I mean, one thing in mind: kill the ball, get it over the line. Just good percentage play. Build your game from there.
Mitchell hacks it forward. Patfull stands under it, can't mark it. Wines couldn't crumb it clean. Gray does. Flicks to Moore. Close enough to have a shot. Keeps it low. Doesn't let the wind play with it. More of that.
Well, exactly right. That's a great start there. Port Adelaide needed to respond, get that goal on the board. They've had the ball in their forward half of the ground for most of this first quarter. And look, it's just great play here from Robbie Gray, who's found the ball a fair few times in the early part. 3 disposals, and Moore's the other one now, up to 4 disposals. An important goal just to get Port Adelaide going, settled into this game. As you mentioned, Dwayne, they had been a little bit fumbly, and just that goal allows them to settle down.
Maloney started extremely well with 2 clearances, but Moore's his direct opponent. He's had to put more time into Moore there.
Brisbane playing an extra player behind the ball. Adcock slung. Monfries. Moore. Corns. Centering kick to Mitchell. Redden trying to get there. Mitchell outread him.
It was a great kick from Kane Corns. Great team play to set it up and identify where the space was and get the ball over the top into Kane Mitchell's hands. But Clark was standing in the goal square as well. He didn't pick it up quick enough to get over to create that spoil as the extra, as the spare man in defence, or deep in defence for the Brisbane Lions.
I think the kick was just too good from Corns. It was just absolutely lace out. Well spotted. Great team kick.
Overlooked in draft after draft. Wins the sand over. Gets his chance as a 23-year-old.
We saw Andrew Moore kick a goal from a very similar spot from Corns. And you could have been excused for him to go for goal, but he looked inboard. That was the key. He had a look in, and he saw Kane Mitchell. It was a really good play here. This is where Clark did a really good job corralling both players. You can see they're winning the ball back. It was a great performance, but in the end, the Kane Corns kick was absolutely outstanding. Have a look, quick look inboard, team play. Saw Mitchell out the corner of his eye, and you're right, Clark was unfortunately half asleep there on that occasion.
Rising star nominee, Ebert.
It's amazing too, a lot of the younger players that come out of the sample and the waffle that have had that senior experience at the next level down, they're the ones generally at the moment having a big impact at AFL level when they step up.
It does help to know you can fend off the big bodies. Big bomb forward in Boak's direction, running hard. Schultz, it'll be a 2-on-2. Great commitment from Schultz. He's hurt big time. Hartlett's got it. Centering kick. Mitchell, same spot as he was last time.
And he marked it. Well done, Jay Schultz. Beautifully called, Dwayne. Look, the assault on the ball there. He went in, Jono, knowing he was going to get hurt for his team, but it's created a shot at goal. He's still down, Jay.
That was just down here in front of me, spot on. He cannonballed into that, and he's a little bit dizzy too, boys. He's coming off. He's got the wobbly legs at the moment, so we'll see how he goes.
Yeah, there's nothing Elliot Yeh could do there. It was just a great attack from Schultz. He looks okay. That's a positive sign for Paul. But what about Mitchell popping up in the same spot?
A little bit further out, and he sprays it. So he does commit himself and hurt himself so often, Jay Schultz. He's had concussions, he's had internal bleeding and rib injuries in the last 12 months.
And they can't lose that role either, and that would be a shame for him because he's up the ground, he marks the ball well, and we can see he competes hard and attacks the footy.
It'll be interesting to see whether the Port bench use the 20-minute rule on Jay Schultz.
Well, they have that option. Their sub is Sam Calhoun, so Calhoun can come on and have 20 minutes on before they're actually committed to using him as their full-time player again for the rest of the game. Now, Boak's tackle rewarded.
Nearly impossible.
I reckon he can kick it from
you
there
reckon?
with this breeze, yeah. It is the impossible pocket. Yeah, impossible.
Yeah. Well, he didn't start it out. He had to start it out in the goal square and let the wind bring it in.
But he didn't set himself.
This has been the big improvement in the game. They get the +1 out the back, then they switch quickly.
Pittard. Westhoff is targeted, a one-on-one with Patfull. Turns Patfull inside out. Should stroll in and goal. Misses. Back in
once Westhoff won that ball, the forwards that were in the goal square, they all let out as well, and that'll be the result.
And young Justin Clark, his direct opponent, needs to play off him a little bit because we know that Butcher uses his body extremely well.
Schultz is back on.
That's courage. That is super courage. Yeah, moves right in front of you, but to come back on after a head knock and then stand under a high ball with 3 big Brisbane players coming at you, it's courage.
To the hot spot. Westhoff's down there, Butcher's down there. Westhoff with the reach and the mark.
Well, we saw Westhoff last week, Dwayne, mark 3 of those in the back half to save the game against St Kilda. Now he's gone forward. You can look at the Brisbane defenders looking up at the screen.
And Schultz is just on his haunches again, boys, and the medicos are just running out to make sure he's okay.
But the Brisbane defenders all got tangled. There had to have been someone laying off and get a really big aggressive spoil in there.
The hero of last week's win against the Saints, the Hoff, gives Port Adelaide a 2-goal break at the quarter-time siren, and that might be about what the breeze is worth. Quarter-time in an elimination final for the Brisbane Lions, and they'll have the breeze in the second term. 12 points the margin, 3-4 to 1-4.
Look at Merritt if they can find him.
And Redden now sees him, he keeps it lower. Mays, still Merritt. If he wants him, he goes to Zorko. Still Merritt if he wants him, and he didn't want him. He turns it over. That's bizarre.
You can see what he was trying to do. I think he thought that O'Shea was going to come up onto Merritt, so he tried to kick it over the top, but he just didn't get enough on it, guys.
Merritt's still there. And now he's got it. And he
saw
goes,
his own.
Ah, it worked out.
all part of the grand plan.
That's why they did it.
That's why he's a magician.
They've really tightened up in that area. That was a better tap from Lobby.
Boak somehow found some space where there was none. Again, there's an extra player for Brisbane. Ball to the back. Clark will get there first. Schultz hunting him down. Spare man now, Maguire. Keeps it alive. Monfries! And that was a realistic leap, so no free, but boy, that would have been a monster.
Magnificent lead there from Monfries. Let's have another look. Oh, yes, good ride. Oh, held it till it hit the deck. Another angle.
Tackle from Cassisi. Crisp didn't have it. Brown feels for contact. Boak again. Cassisi shrugs the tackle. Almost had long enough. The crowd still screaming and yelling, but there were no frees there, and the umpire has to sort this out. O'Shea, well, that had to be ball or throwing it away. Hartlett, Monfries, Corns, Stewart.
Well, Broadbent's on here.
Floats on him a little. Adcock. Little bit of trouble in paradise here for Port Adelaide. Rich pushing the back, not paid. Adcock looking at a goal. Rich, who can kick a long ball. Jonathan Brown, that's his forte. Give him an inch, he'll take the mile. Redden, Rockcliffe, Rains, Redden.
Worked it through well there, Brisbane.
Brown. And Green on the
Have a
run.
look at this, Rich.
Rich can long bomb if he wants to. No one's in the square. Ton of time to size it up. He can virtually put it in the book. Hands it to Crisp. And Crisp use of the ball by Brisbane sees them hit the front.
And with only 3 minutes to go, Michael Voss will be starting to think of the second half. What can I do in the second half now, especially in the third quarter when they're going to kick with the win, Port Adelaide? Is it Merritt the one that possibly flows back behind the ball just to keep in that, just to help out Maguire and Patfull?
Well, one thing you do, you'd make your ruckman kick behind the ball, Jono.
Yep.
And maybe Merritt plays the ruckman forward around the wing region.
Hit out to Hartlett. They used it well there. They didn't fall for the trap. Hartlett plays on. A little more central to Wines, who plays on, doesn't waste time because he's quality.
Lack of concentration there. Great play from Port. But you can see the Port defence now just looking around their hands on their hips. Well, it's pretty simple. Just grab a man. And you wear this one here. But everyone just assumed he was going to go back and have a shot at goal. You have a look here from Hartlett. Looks inboard. Sees Wines on his own. And is able to run in for a goal. That's just a lack of concentration there.
Wines is the one who taps it on the back and says, great mark. And then just floats into a bit of space. Excellent goal.
So Wines or Jager O'Meara?
Jager this year.
Okay. Well, Wines can't win it next year, so... Okay.
But he's been excellent. Look, he's just a quality young man, a quality young player who's had an impact in his first year, and that'll continue to grow.
Talking about the NAB Rising Star winner for 2013. Ebert caught high.
Well, they needed that goal, Port. That was their first goal for the quarter. They've entered their forward 50 15 times. They've smacked Brisbane in the clearances, contested ball, and the tackling. It's just been the extra. So that's a relief for Kenny and the coaching staff going to half-time to score a goal against the Blues.
They've got a mini run on. Schultz leads. He's in front. Good hands.
Well, that's the only option they have because, as we said, they keep hitting the one-on-one.
Is it to Boak? Long kick. Lobe. Off hands. Butcher. Well, they're the ones he can kick. This will go to the review. So if you're new to this, they need evidence to overturn it. If there's no definitive evidence to overturn the goal, it will stay as a goal.
Oh, hell. It's gone under his arms. It's gone through his arms.
That's home.
Hey, we'll have a good look here.
His bicep or something?
Did a touch under his arm? It's not definitive there. They can't overturn it on that evidence.
No.
As I've said a number of times this year,
This is the one here.
it's balance of probability.
It's a goal. You can't, it's inconclusive. Well,
It's a goal.
Well done, Brian. That's beautifully explained, because you cannot possibly have a look at that and say that Clark's touched the ball. It's actually, he's made a bridge over the ball and he's kicked it under his arms.
You wouldn't send someone, as I've said before, to the electric chair on that evidence, but the balance of probability is that it was a goal.
The real disappointing part here for Brisbane, the concentration level with less than 2 minutes to play, that should have been put 15 rows back. You know, just didn't get a piece of the ball at all. I know we talk about the Butcher goal, which was great, but have a look here. Leuenberger gets tangled up and Merritt misses the ball. So you've got your ruckman there, your best Merritt behind the ball as a defender, and he's gone for the spike and missed it.
I think the best evidence is the disappointment on the defender's face that he didn't touch it.
Correct, Wade.
To the wing, Merritt dumps it down. Speaking of players born here, Merritt's first hometown. Wingard to Boak, and again they've got the spare man, so Boak has to use it wisely. Robbie Gray outread by Patfull to Mays.
Oh, look at
Jonathan
Zorko
Ray.
run hard.
So Zorko getting off Pittard. Brown sees him now, makes it tough for him, makes it almost impossible. Green mops up that mess, goes to goal, spectacular.
Look at that.
Take a bit of body as well.
Centering kick to Westhoff, thump clear of him. Slick hands to Mays, but he left it behind. Corns, opportunist kick at goal, and he misses. Get out of trouble.
Young Justin Clark will learn from that spoiling effort on Butcher.
O'Shea stands under it. Green with him. O'Shea drops the chest mark. Trouble. Green steals
Good
and
speed.
goes. Hands it off. Zorko from 45. Back in this big time. Stewart. A high bomb. Butcher. And pushed, according to the umpire, by Clark. Schultz is inside 50, waiting for the long ball. Hartlett pumps it long. Schultz in position A. Drops it. And it rolls through for another behind.
He did really well there, Schultz, not to give a free kick away. He was mindful of the fact he didn't want to put hands in the back. You can see that.
That's where Michael Voss needs to get that message out to his players to keep the pressure up here on Port Adelaide. You're right, because if Port Adelaide win it, they're every chance to get it back within 1 or 2 disposals. So that message needs to go right through the group.
Bonfries, time to steady. Someone needs to nail it. He took the bull by the horns.
Well, it took the experience, an experienced player, a senior player, to finally put one through the sticks for Port Adelaide in this quarter. 1 goal, 5. They had 5 behinds up until this stage, and it's the long kick out, but it's just numbers around this. Getting to the right spot, a good spoil, a deep spoil as well. Got it out of the congestion, and Bonfries was able to read it.
Brisbane have been going really wide with that kick out, nearly to the boundary line. They went a bit more central and paid the ultimate price there.
From the restart, game on again, and Maloney's getting a couple of clearances now. Floats it up. Fist away from Trengove. Knocked to ground. Stewart. Moore. Mitchell took them on and
Great
dropped
tackle.
it. That had to be
Has to
ball.
be.
It's still on here.
Maloney long
Rich.
going in the square. This will be monstrous. It bounces through. Brisbane in front.
Like I said, Maloney's just got off the chain in the last couple of minutes, and look at the result.
It's built on tackling though, Moons, isn't it? The tackling from Brisbane, as we see again, is really putting Port under pressure.
It is, Spud. Look, from a player's point of view, you get so frustrated when you make those great tackles and you don't get rewarded for it.
Buick under some pressure. Might have turned this over. Schultz. It bounced kindly. Instant reply. Port Adelaide back in front.
Well, Spud, that's right back at you, because that's pressure on the other side now that's caused that, turnover and caused the goal then to Schultz. Buick on that occasion missed the handball, but it's just the pressure. Once again, they were able to close things up here, Port Adelaide, continually get someone around the ball carrier, make it spill out, and put that pressure on. You see here, Mitchell now closes up on Buick, misses the handball, and away they go. So it's just closing up every time.
It's amazing. Buick tackles Mitchell. Mitchell tackles Buick. Well, there you go. You've got a goal up the other end because of Buick tackling Mitchell. And then Mitchell thought, well, if you can do it, I can do it. So he tackles Buick, turns over, goal to Port. Great pressure.
He doesn't need to run there. He needs to run up the wing to create the big contest for an outlet kick.
Merritt with the reach. Wingard, good commitment. Even. He's got the spare man. Fantastic smother, Merritt. Schultz was in the square all on his own. Tackled late on Maguire. Tried to get to the boundary. Wingard tried to keep it alive. And rolls it through for another behind.
Oh, this will be really frustrating for Ken Hinkley. But great pressure there. That was magnificent for Brisbane. This quarter, there's 7 Port players they've had multiple kicks, but they haven't had an effective kick.
They were, of course, the team that won the Nat Cup this year. When they get it going, they can get it going with the best of them. Wingard. Wide to Schultz. Dives marks.
What's been his four-tailed AJ Schultz? He just launches off both feet into the air.
Well, Spud, this is when Port love to score. They've scored 3 goals to 0 in red time in that first half. So their fitness really does come into play late in these quarters.
Breeze, just a zephyr still blowing to that end when he puts it up.
Yeah, they've had 8 scoring shots this quarter for 13 entries, but unfortunately only the 2 goals.
See those flags will help him a little. Puts it up for that Breeze.
Oh,
That is out of the copybook.
That's just a super kick from Jay Schultz, and Cam Mooney's mentioned a number of times how tricky the wind is at ground level for today's game. And look, Wingard involved again. That's that uncontested work on the outside that they need. That link up, get the ball, and look, that's Jay Schultz at his best right there, launching at a mark and then going back, and just an awesome finish to kick a goal from that pocket today. Wonderful goal.
A spot in the 8 up for grabs for Port Adelaide. They win their 8th, they lose their 9th. Wingard stands under it. Adcock crushes it down. Still a chance for a late score to Brisbane. Splendid tackle on Redden. Ball knocked free. Adcock, scything kick to Buick. Caught high. Had to be.
Yeah, it was against Cam O'Shea, and you know when you tackle, you've got to go low with your hands. You shoot from the hips. Unfortunately, his hands were up there already, and you can see Michael Voss already working the board over. And that's good coaching, knowing there's less than a minute left in the game, but getting your board set for 3/4 time. Yeah, definitely a free kick. Big kick, this one.
And Yo just ran onto the ground then and told him 10 seconds left.
So don't play on.
Don't play on.
For the 3/4 time lead for the Brisbane Lions. They're down by 5. From just outside the paint. Doesn't bring it around enough. But it sets up for a big final term. Brisbane Lions will have a slight zephyr to their end in the final quarter. They go into the last term with their season on the line. 4 points down. 9-6, 60 to 8-16, 64. Got it now.
Well, he led 5 times with that ball. That's great work right there.
Hartlett just beyond his range.
That's a real improvement in Jay Schultz's game. His second and third efforts to lead.
He's gone back with intentions.
Yeah, he's going to back himself in. I saw him launch some from 65-70 a week ago.
Oh, well, that certainly
like
wouldn't have been the plan, would it? The 1-2. And another floater. Rolls through to the pocket. Well, that might have been the intention the whole time. You get a ball in and try and get a score from a stoppage. Gave up the sorry, mate. Monfries. Missed the target. Wingard still good enough. Turnover though. Zorko steals it. Gives it to Golby. Brown's on the loose. He's outside 50, but he marks it. Green runs for him. Golby runs for him. Port Adelaide blocking the holes. Maloney.
Perfect kick. There was 6 Port players behind Maloney, and Brown, that was the only option he had, either that or long down the line for a boundary throw in. That's just leadership, that is, that kick.
Well, it is here.
Have a look at the numbers.
Look at the numbers of Port Adelaide back. They all flowing back with the ball. And that was some of Brisbane's forwards who had pushed hard to the goal square, which dragged Port Adelaide players with them. Maloney popped in the hole.
For the lead back. Starts it right and doesn't feed back. And touched out of play. Not a bad option.
Yep. You prefer Maloney from that distance on the run. The set shot. He nearly put him down on the run from there.
Had the big trip to Darwin last week, and it can take a little bit more out of you going up to Darwin. You normally drop 1 or 2 kilos more than usual playing in those conditions, so they need to dig deep here.
Maloney, well, he didn't play last week, so he's rested up. Puts it back, top of the square. Brown's down there. Good pluck, Broadbent.
Yeah, he's the extra for Port. Great composure.
To Monfries. Yeah, the Darwin factor was an excuse for Melbourne yesterday. Probably not an excuse for the whole 122 points, but maybe an excuse for some of it. Colhoun, inboard to Broadbent. And he runs and goes. Kick to Schultz was good. Wingard peels for Schultz. He's got Butcher. He's got Boak. He goes to Butcher. Can't take the mark. Wants to keep it alive to Boak. Kicks it into the behind post on the full.
Still no score from both teams.
Now Daniel Rich on the run. Leuenberger. No one to kick too long. Rich now realises that he's got to go backwards or hold it up or wait. Floats it back. Leuenberger. Now they can go. Buick.
We can't go long. Broadbent's there.
He might go for goal and go all the way home. Zorko just not clear again by Broadbent. Saves the day and runs.
And didn't give a free kick away. That's one of the crucial contests of the game there.
Little fumble, Mitchell. Just in time. Finds the gap. Handball to Carlisle. Schultz.
Well, Broadbent's the last two entries. Broadbent's running out beautifully.
Trengove. Jonathan Brown didn't follow him down. He lets Wingard go for it. Wingard is a dead-eye. Tough kick. Long way out. Breeze blowing out of the entrance. 64 to 60. Everybody takes a breath.
Another 20 disposals for Wingard. 2 shots at goal, 2 behinds 1.
This is the spoil at the other end. Broadbent's been able to save the day on a couple of occasions in this last quarter.
It's been an incredibly cool and reliable goal kicker this year. That one not his best. Merritt. Huge grab.
Oh, he's played on.
Played on. In trouble. Turnover, Monfries. Westhoff. Off to dead. Wingard. Wingard nails the goal.
Big goal. Did Merritt come off the line? That's what we'll look for here, but Port Adelaide then closed it up. He thought that Monfries was inside that protected zone. High ball comes in here. Merritt does the right thing. Takes the mark here. Gets back off. Takes a step.
Yeah,
it is play on.
Yeah.
And then the pressure comes. Port Adelaide keep it alive. 3 cracks at it. And then Wingard.
Well, I thought it was a match-saving mark from Merritt, but unfortunately he stepped off the line. Great pressure from Port. It goes back to Broadbent as well. You see the jubilation there of the Port players.
Pogue and Golby side by side. The Buick hands it up. They've still got their run. Rockcliffe chips it. Splendid mark. Zorko in the middle of 3 Port defenders. Found some space.
Perfect kick play. Just lace out.
2 goals in the 3rd term, Dane Zorko, to keep Brisbane's chances alive. Needs to kick this. To the boos. To silence the crowd again. Gets plenty on it, but it drifts. Distance not a worry at that end from 50. Handball over the top. This looks good. Doherty. Sidestep. Out to Rich. A rare chance. Hasn't had a day. Couldn't make it his moment. O'Shea. Goal line. Didn't need to play on. Decides to. Bangs it long. Bouncing ball. Monfries even. Bang! Patfull brings him down. Fantastic tackle.
What about O'Shea and Broadbent? Some crucial contests this last quarter.
Ebert's got a big cut on the head.
Brisbane Lions player down as well.
Big split over the eye from Ebert. Big contest between him and Patfull.
That's been one of the differences for Port Adelaide this year. Ebert certainly has been prepared to bleed for this club since coming from the West Coast Eagles. Patfull, a former Port Adelaide listed player, went just as hard at that contest. 59 seconds left. They need 2 goals to steal it, the Brisbane Lions. And everybody has sucked in some oxygen. The clock stopping for a couple of seconds. Clearance essential. Brisbane with the 2-on-1.
He's got to go.
And he takes off. The clock continues to roll. Maguire to half forward over the head of Merritt. Bouncing ball. Doherty inside. Green chased down by Pinnard. Sidesteps, runs into a tackle. Still under him. The second still run. We're down to 33. Port Adelaide free for too high. Big call.
Well, it was a big call in the context of the game. You don't... I admire Green for taking the game on. He had to take the game on. Not sure whether the free kick was there, but this has been a magnificent performance. Great game, great contest, great win from Port.
It's showdown time for Port Adelaide next week. It just keeps getting bigger for Port Adelaide. They've got Geelong the week after. They desperately needed a win today. Port Adelaide are back in the top 8 tonight. The Port Adelaide directors, Koshy, Coscardone, George Fialchi, they stand as one. Massive round of applause. And the Port Adelaide heart has grown enormously in the past 8 months.
Well, an excellent effort from both sides today. A tough game of footy. Just willing the whole way through, the whole 4 quarters. In the end, that was a tight last quarter of footy. And Port Adelaide get over the line by 9 points. But credit to them, their pressure was great all day long. And in the end, it was a fantastic win for a club that is so desperate to get a finals appearance.